Good morning, Gracie Baja Franklin. It's Professor Chris. We got Coach Shoop, Professor Justin, coming to you live from Gracie Baja Franklin. Week 6 of the curriculum. You guys excited?
I'm very excited.
I had coffee this morning. Professor Justin, what do you got for us?
You want me to start?
Yeah, go ahead.
So in GB1, we're working on head lock escapes and then also some turtle guard recovery. Just some little homework.
Turtle guard.
Sorry.
I
made it. Well, it was on my mind. Turtle is not a guard. We're working on turtle recovery, but I was gonna say, for a long time, even though turtle isn't a guard, I didn't mind turtling and like trying to find cool reversals from there. Again, you won't get sweeps if you come on top from turtle. You won't get points for it, rather. But just some homework, just to watch someone really use turtle as an attacking position, although it can work out unfavorably for the person playing turtle, is Eduardo Telles. He's a super fun guy to watch. He invites the person to make him turtle, and then he kind of sets up a bunch of crazy, wild reversals and attacks from there. So look up Eduardo Telles. I'll put a link in the description.
Is he like an older
guy
now?
Yeah.
But he's done ADCC and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. I mean, he's a really good grappler, but his game, who am I to say he would smash me? But his game became very heavy on turtle, and the problem with that is like, one, you can't score points from turtle, and two, you're basically allowing a world champion to get that much closer to your back.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think it was a no-gi match. He either beat Felipe Pena. I think he might have tapped Felipe Pena. I think a scramble from turtle, if I'm not mistaken, and then got a choke or got his back. I can't remember, but it was a good match. He's a really good grappler.
I wonder what, because depending on the rule set, if you are able to turtle and kind of like stall a little bit, like imagine if someone's trying to take your back and you know that if you make it 2.5 more minutes, points will turn on. So you just turtle and then you wait for them to kind of try to attack your back. Once the timer's up, you get back to your feet and then you blast a double leg and score.
I mean, in theory, it sounds good, but again, the higher the level people and they get near your back, it can be over very quickly.
Well, and if you're fighting IBJJF, depending on how you get to turtle, you're going to give up an advantage most likely.
Yeah,
true.
What do we got in kids classes, Professor Chris?
We're working on our fight stance posture, defending if a bully were to push or try and pull us, take us away. Also, we're working on some back escapes, which is always fun. And we're also throwing a little bit of just offensive back stuff so our champions can learn more of the back position.
And we've got kids competing this weekend. So we did a competition style class yesterday, which was a lot of fun to see all the kids. We do some live matches in front of their class and let the class root and cheer on each person just so they can get used to the pressure and the loud chaos while they do their jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, so if you want to come support, we have adults and kids competing. It's this Saturday in Brentwood at the Crockett Park Sportsplex or something along those lines. It's in Brentwood, so it's probably 5 miles from the school. So check it out online, Tap Cancer Out. It's for a good cause, and come support your teammates. Make sure you wear either a red competition team shirt, which we have available at the school, or a school t-shirt to represent Gracie Baja.
So 2 topics that I have for discussion. One is about competition, but I actually want to talk about the other one because I think it's a little more important. And this is general hygiene and etiquette. You should wash your gi after every single class. Even if you didn't sweat, you should wash your gi. A lot of people like to use OxyClean. I usually just use whatever detergent's on sale. Wash it on hot. Again, if depending on how your gi fits, it'll shrink a little bit, but I like to wash mine on hot. Make sure you dry or hang dry it after every class. That includes kids and adults. And I personally wash my belt like once or twice a week or so. You could wash it after every class. I am a big belief that you should always wash your belt. You will not lose your powers, I promise.
Isn't that how you get a nice fade on the belt too? Is if you keep.
I mean, it's
it?
gonna wear it out. Like especially, I think the dryer will, wear it out more. But it's like a common old school belief that you shouldn't wash your belt, and that's ridiculous.
Now, this goes for kids too, so not just adults. Even when the kids seem like they don't sweat, they should still get their gi wash after every class. We've seen kids come in here with goldfish crackers falling out of their gi, so it's very important to make sure we have a clean gi.
Not only a clean gi, but also clean person, right? So, you're not gonna. It's not necessarily recommended to take a shower right before class. Sometimes that can get some of the good bacteria off your skin. That helps protect you from skin stuff. But you should not come to class stinky and gross. Okay, if you haven't showered at all that day, maybe you should start adding morning showering to your routine. Of course, wearing deodorant. We have mouthwash at the school. Give yourself a nice rinse. Be a good smelling training partner. There's nothing worse than training with someone who is stinky.
I feel like we're going after some people right now.
This is shots fired. Right now.
Well, it's really not. At the end of the day, this is just us educating people because a lot of people don't know that you're supposed to wash your gi every day. And that's on us for not educating you. So now that's what we're doing.
And on top of that, make sure you cut your fingernails and toenails.
That is a common way for staph infections to happen, is for people to get little fingernail cuts on their hands, and then it gets infected. For those of you that don't know, staph lives on most people's skin. The problem is it gets inside a cut, it gets infected because we don't clean it quick enough, and that's where the infection comes in. So
I'm pretty sure when I got my infection on my leg a while ago, it was because I actually, interestingly enough, took like 3 weeks off during that period, wasn't training at all. And then I hadn't cut my nails, and I was, not staying 100% clean and got infected. I was thinking, well, I'm not on the mats right now, so it's not that important. And I was still here, and, that's kind of how it happened, I think. So
yeah,
cut your fingernails for sure.
All right. Anything else on that?
nope.
So next thing is maybe each of us go through. We can start with you. Give some competition advice. So go ahead.
I would just start with your morning routine. Try and keep it somewhat the same, especially as far as coffee, fluids, and food goes. For me personally, when I compete, I do not like to have a lot in my stomach, so I try and finish my coffee, my water, and a little snack like an hour and a half before I compete. I may sip on water in between that like hour and a half period, but I try and cut it all off. Number one, I don't want to throw up because of the nerves. Number two, I don't have to use the bathroom while I'm down in the bullpen getting ready to compete. Because once your division's going, chances of you being able to run out to the bathroom are going to be pretty low. So that's my advice.
Shoot.
I would, the number one thing, and this is something more recently that I've started to think about, is competing is no different from what you do every single day you show up and train. It's the exact same thing. To this idea that for some reason the pace is going to be higher or people are going to be, going harder when they're in a competition. This is not real. No one gets stronger when they're on the mats. No one gets more athletic when they're competing. When you show up, and you have hard training sessions, it's all to prepare you for competition. And the lights, the stage, the crowd is all an illusion. I've been listening to John Donaher talk about this. He puts a really big emphasis on this idea that competing is literally the exact same thing you do every single day. It's you, another person, and a referee that is making sure you stay within whatever rule set you're competing under. Everything else is an illusion. And I think as we get closer to NAGA and Tap Out Cancer and the Nashville Open, then we should continue to kind of push that message that we are doing exactly what we are going to try to execute on competition day every single day when we train.
I think the caveat to that, and you said it, but that's if you are training for competition and having like hard competition rounds, because of course no one's going to get magically stronger or necessarily like push a stronger pace you've never felt. But if you're only taking GB1 classes, doing specific training, I guarantee you it will be different. But that's why you should be training with the intention of competing, so upping your intensity, getting those rounds in.
But you also shouldn't be going 110% every single roll, because that's how you get injured, and that's how you get burnt out and all these things. So,
well, the way I view it is off of what you said is when you compete, you're gonna fight someone that goes hard, but you already train with someone else that goes hard. You know, so you're not gonna meet an opponent that has some sort of new level that you've never seen before, because you've seen it in the gym. You may not see it with every person, but you're also gonna compete against a timid person who isn't as aggressive, but you also train with that type of person. So I think you're never gonna see a new type of person in a competition. You've already seen all those people at the gym. Is the way I view it.
My piece of advice would be make sure you get a good warm up. I can't tell you how many times I've done it or seen people do it where they don't even get a warm up. They go in cold, and then after the match they can barely move their arms, and fatigue and the adrenaline really hits them. One of my best times I felt in a competition, I had to cut a bunch of weight the night before and the day of. So I was on an exercise bike for probably 30 minutes, had a good sweat going, made weight, and surprisingly, even though I did feel a little lethargic from just starving myself, I felt really good. I felt nice and warm. The fatigue and the adrenaline didn't hit me like a truck like it does when I don't warm up. And it's the same thing, if you haven't trained in a couple days, your first round, you're kind of breathing heavy, even if you're in good shape. It's because it's that initial effort kind of taxes your body, and then once you recover from it, you're feeling good. So get a good sweat going. Some people like to warm up really hard. My advice is just a nice light sweat. It'll help calm your nerves.
What exactly are you doing to get the sweat going? Are you drilling, or are you doing jumping jacks?
It depends. If someone's in the tournament that I know, maybe some grip breaks and stuff. I never did a whole lot of drilling. Now, warm-up mats are becoming more common, so that is an option. I like to kind of just jog around the venue, listen to music. The other piece of advice with music is figure out what kind of music you need. If you need something to amp you up, listen to something to amp you up. I started to realize I would get too amped up, especially 30, 40 minutes before the match, which I don't think is necessarily good. And I like to cut the music out before we were walking to the mat, because I got into the habit of taking my headphones out and then getting right on the mat, and I feel like it's like a sensory shock from going amped up music or whatever music to silence almost.
That's kind of the same thing, back to what I was saying, building up competition is this new thing that you're doing. You don't necessarily, everyone's different, but you don't necessarily need some Eminem hype music to get you fired up.
You don't do that before you roll.
Yeah, and when you come to the gym every day, you're not getting yourself pumped though.
I used to. When I was just a student, when I'd be driving up here, I'd be turning on some hype music. So,
but you're not going straight onto the mat, headphones on, off, and then slapping hands and going at it. But if you find that that's something you want to do, like maybe you incorporate that with your training. It may seem silly, but talk to your coach or professor and say, hey, can I listen to some music? I want to get used to it for competition. But that's why I recommend just to get used to not doing it. If you need it to isolate a little bit, some people like to take naps, some people read books. It all depends on what you need, and like kind of what he was saying with your ritual before class. Like, what do you do? Do you listen to music on the ride up there? Okay, maybe you need a little music. Do you like silence? You like to come in kind of just fresh with jujitsu not even on your brain and just come into class and do work. So yeah, that's all we got, I think.
So come see us this weekend at Tap Cancer Out, Saturday. I'm assuming doors open at 9 and it's going to be till the early afternoon. We'll post more information on our Instagram and Facebook.
All right, till next time, make sure to like and subscribe.
Bye, guys.
Bye.